Hello everyone and welcome back to the Brightworks and another match of Beyond All Reason. This was a viewer submitted match that I thought we'd take a look at today because, believe it or not, it's actually been a while since I've seen all that glitters the map that we're going to be looking at today. So, spawning on the southern side and representing our blue team, it's going to be Squall B, coming in at 31 true skill, little silver bar peeking out of the bottom of those chevrons there, indicating that at least for the time being, Squall B along with Dox, who also has 31 true skill, we actually have a tie for first place here on the green team. Green/blue team, going to be representing the blue team equally here, I suppose. Two joint commanders working in tandem. We'll have to see how that works out. Never seen a teamwork like that before. Representing the red team all the way up here on the northern side as a Cortex commander, going into a couple of wind turbines. It's Super Kitovic and Super Kitowic. Maybe it's Super Kitovic or Viek. I'm not entirely sure. But I can tell you right now that this commander is looking to go for some sort of tech. This is absolutely the tech spot on all that glitters. You're pretty much, you're required to go for tech in this spot. You don't really have all too much of a luxury. Arguably, you could go into tech from this spot as well. This is just as equally good a spot to go into tech, but this is a little bit better just because you're centralized so that you can hand out those T2s with relatively little time between arrival. Definitely makes for a convincing transition into the mid game here, and this is a little bit of a longer one, so grab your drink, grab your popcorn, grab whatever snack you have on hand. I've got these little pretzel bites filled with peanut butter. They're absolutely scrumptious. Won't be snacking on those though, so you don't have to worry about the audio profile of that going right into your ear holes, but I will encourage you to go grab some and enjoy this along with me. Do we have any early game aggression? It looks like we're thinking about it here. Wild Sparrow moving a single rascal up to the front lines here. It's going to be intercepted by two of these RC cars here from the forces of Popsy, our yellow commander here on the red team. Nice. Rovers will shut down all of these rascals one by one. It's the little battles that matter. Shutting down these rascals does mean that there's not going to be any aggression over on the red side of the map, at least not for the time being here. We also have some forces out here in the middle as well for Kura, our orange commander for the evening. Going to be trying to contest the middle of the map. There's loads and loads of rocks that these resbots right here should definitely be trying to eat up. Looks like we're finally going to get those on duty here, start eating up some of those golden minerals. But I think, all that being said, this is probably a pretty good start right here for the red team. And I'd love to see them trying to sneak some units through right here, but you can see excellent defense by Squall B, keeping the units in formation, making sure that there's vision across what could arguably be considered to be their lane. This is really nice, though. Doesn't seem like Elaboratics is going to have a nice little metal advantage just for having eaten up some of those rocks out here in the middle of the map. There's about a couple hundred or so metal lying between the various rock formations here on all the glitters. Back in the day, those rocks weren't golden. They got a little bit of a visual update, made them a whole lot prettier. This is nice. While I was blabbing on about golden rocks, we do have a couple of these rascals did actually end up eventually making it into the backlines here. That's quite nice for them. They did snipe at least a single metal extractor. They might have gotten another one here as well. That or it wasn't taken already. Looks like we do have a construction bot moving on over there for Omaha, so that's quite nice. Definitely need to get these metal extractors up and running as quickly as possible here. I like what Wild Sparrow is doing, pushing forward with the commander. It's a little bit risky, but with the units holding the choke point right here, yeah, I think this is probably well worth it here. And the commander, of course, can take that 3.2 metal extractor spot, and we do have a construction vehicle following the commander, building up the metal income. Slowly but surely, we're going to get into that mid-game here where we have enough metal income to actually produce those T1 medium tanks in bulk, and we start to see those really hefty T1 armies wielding their weight around. We're not quite to the T2 transition phase yet, although we are getting close to time for a commander sacrifice. I don't quite have the metal spent right here for our purple player. Not sure if that's going to be the tech here. We do have vehicles coming out of Darkwing, so it looks like for the very time least, our Seafoam green player not going to be in charge of doing any kind of tech. It's going to all fall on the purple commander. We do see that commander, in fact, moving into position right here, getting ready, and we are going to see that sacrifice here any moment. Same thing for Super Kitowic. Already a little ahead of the curve, actually, moving the commander out here this way. You have to hold spacebar and X in order to check this. That lab is actually within range. Uh-oh. Oh. That, well, nothing bad happened, but it was damn close. Yikes. I had to put him a little further to the right, maybe, try and avoid that. Although I guess you have to risk the metal extractors. I guess there's not a really great option. Maybe one drawback of spawning in that position, right? Oh, this is interesting. Okay, so I see what's happening here. So Popsy has been handed full authority over the units here on the front lines. All of them have been handed over. Yeah, it looks like all of these have been transitioned from the brown commander's force into the yellow commander's force. I think that's a great idea. I think handing over these forces and allowing them to be, you know, working under a single unified commander's vision, I think is probably going to make things go a little bit smoother here. It's going to make the units, well, they're going to wield their force in synchrony rather than out of phase with each other, right? And you can imagine all the tanks moving forward and then all the rocket bots moving forward and going back and forth, not exactly trading each other efficiently. Yeah, that could definitely lead to some missed opportunities here. So this is actually really nice teamwork. I like to see it. Yeah, nicely done right now by the forces here of the brown and yellow commanders on the red team. Squall B pushed really far forward here. We do have all the metal extractors as well. Nicely done claiming these up. You can see the economy right now for Squall B is actually tremendous. 30-ish metal per second coming in, depending on reclaim here as well. But yeah, that is really, really nice for a blue commander. I wonder if we could go for an early T2. We have the metal for it. Yeah, there's 700 metal in this lab, and we're almost about to hit our cap of 1850. Yeah, the blue commander could actually go for a really quick T2 transition. It'd be a bit risky. There's not exactly a compelling force on the front line. A couple of riot tanks, a couple of whistlers, lashers rather, pardon me. Yeah, it'd be a bit of a strange maneuver, but it would be interesting to see. Maybe getting some of those T2 units out on the field extremely quickly might be a way to close out this game. Beamer turrets firing away over here. I always feel weird saying something by that, or like that rather, the closing out this game, because I do happen to know, just based on the file size alone, but also just from the replay viewer, how long this replay is going to be, more or less. So I know it's like a little bit of a spoiler, but I guess you have the same thing as well with the video timer down below. Maybe if you're checking that out, you should also hit the subscribe button as well. I like this formation right now, but Omaha is all alone on this line here, and for good reason, actually. It's really difficult to find the spot to hold this right here. Yeah, this is actually getting a little bit awkward. Whose job is it to hold this line? Dox is moving the commander forward right now, and I think that's probably the best option there is. But yeah, this is Omaha going up against two commanders in one right now. Now, luckily for the blue team, Rodix is not putting any forces on the front line here. We have a big buildup of forces in the back, but they're not applying any pressure whatsoever. It's definitely allowed Squall B to run rampant here on the front lines. Tremendous amount of, yeah, just, I mean, everything on the front lines. We have vehicles coming out. We have a T2 handed over here, so we're going to get into that T2 economy without even having to go into a T2 lab right now. We just desperately need energy. Yeah, you can see our blue commander here stalling heavily on energy. In fact, a lot of the, well, I guess that's not true. For the most part, Avarice also having a troubling time spending the metal right now. No, that's not Avarice. Where's Avarice? Oh, there they are, over in the lane. I see. Using most of their build power and their energy right now on keeping this heavy laser tower up and running so that it can fire away at this lightning tank, as well as whatever other forces are over here. Oh, commander in the line of fire. Uh-oh. Commander goes down and takes all of it with it. Yeah, that's dangerous. Oh, HLT will go down, though. It's a good snipe right there by Chu, because otherwise, yeah, that commander going down could have been a real issue. Dox now has a spider coming up on top of this hill. That's nice. It'll be able to fire away and do some damage from up on high here. I quite like it. Those spider bots are a very inconvenient thing to face on the battlefield, and especially on this battlefield. Darkwing and Wild Sparrow both bringing their forces to bear here at this point, although I guess it's really just Darkwing's commander. The rest of it is still in the backline here. Has it all been handed over? Oh, I wonder if that's the case. Darkwing might have been handing over units over here, because it looks like Wild Sparrow has a tremendous army, and Darkwing does not. So yeah, I'm guessing those units must have been handed over. That or they were sacrificed here somewhat way or another. I don't mind it, though. Take out this camera. Nice camera placement right there by Squall B, sneaking that in. I didn't even notice it. Very nicely done. So this is a nice T1 force right now, but we essentially have the perfect tool for dealing with it right here on the field. Yeah, those pounders are going to be more than happy to take out all those units that are so carefully bundled up together right there. Got to be so careful moving those units in. Yeah, there's also some flame turrets as well. Those will do excellent work. Yeah, you definitely need to spread out these units. Roddick's actually going for a forward bot lab. Interesting. We've gone for 2 bot labs in the back, a bot lab and a vehicle bay in the back here. We're going for an energy storage, a second one. We're going for advanced metal extractors. I don't hate it whatsoever. I just think a little bit more focus and a little bit less of a spread across the board is probably going to be a better idea here. Focusing on individual powerful units is probably going to yield better results against this T1 army. And most of the way, that means T2, going for some sort of tech transition here. T2 is just starting to make the rounds over here on the left-hand side. We can see the brown commander going for that T2 metal extractor transition, as well as starting up a T2 lab. I think it's a little early for the T2 lab. I think you want to get those mexes up before the lab. Not going to be the end of the world, though. Just going to slow things down just a little bit. Pawn's trying to dodge rocket fire. You can always set these on repeat. The amount of people that constantly leave comments or talk to me in game and tell me that they've never seen the repeat command or don't know how to use it. It's a very useful command. You can set your units on a move command like a so, right click and drag, make a big spread of units right here, and then you can hit repeat and then shift right click different spot right there, and they'll constantly be running back and forth here. It's not a fight command, so they're not going to stop if they see an enemy, and it's perfect for luring out artillery because artillery will see them, try and fire, it'll try and move forward to fire at them again. It can waste their shots. It can really do a lot of good work for you. Whoa. Pounder's having a feast right now. Beautiful engagement for those T1 Pounder tanks. Yeah, those riot tanks absolutely shut down that push right there. Rodix cannot feel comfortable, trying to push in any further right here. We do have the Wolverines coming out, though, so those would be much better for besieging this front line right here. But Squall will be doing an excellent job reclaiming as well, keeping everything together right here on the front lines for the blue team. As far as the left-hand side is concerned, looks like we've got a bit of a force building over here. Yeah, Wild Sparrow thinking about moving these units in alongside Squall B. All we need is one of them to pull the trigger, and I think this is going to be a massive collapse right here through the middle of the field. Yeah, there's nothing really to stop all this. I mean, that is the full weight of two commanders who have full-blown metal extractor economies up on the fronts here. Very, very powerful stuff, not to be underestimated whatsoever. Wolverines on the left-hand side, also besieging the base of Pop C, selling the story that the army is over here when in fact it's actually located right over here supporting Squall B. I think we either need to hand these tanks over or just send them on a warpath. Rocket Spiders over here doing excellent work, although it's very difficult to kill these. If anything can do it, I think it's probably the Rocket Spider. Yeah, you can see they do a pretty good job. Let's check the vision right now for Doxed. There we go. Yeah, you can see that commander not exactly familiar with what is actually going on over here. They can sort of see into the fog of war, but not entirely right now. Spider's going to try and take down every single one of these turrets that they can, but yeah, they're extremely resilient when they're tucked into their little I don't know, safety pockets underground here. Air player for the red team still going into T1 fighters, although okay, yeah, starting up a T2 transition here. That's good to see. Yeah, we're getting the fusion reactor. That's absolutely the right idea. Wouldn't even mind seeing eating up the lab here and going for that T2. Basically, same exact story right here for Gundas as well, although I will say a slightly better economy because its advanced solar panels are up. Just going to be producing just a little bit more energy right here. Actually, almost double the energy of the Tan Commander here. And energy almost at this point is translated directly into yeah, the amount of money that you're generating per second here. So looking pretty good right now for the Cyan player at the very least. I'm gonna go ahead and skip ahead here because it looks like the front lines have stagnated somewhat. Maybe we're waiting on T2. Has any of the frontliners gone T2? Indeed they have. Squall B has gone up to a T2 lab. Anybody else across the board here? Doesn't look like it for the blue team. We do have these T2 spiders being pumped out here still, being a constant pain. Yeah, and I would say this position has essentially been broken here. Yeah, Weber's gonna fire away. Oh, they accidentally revealed the location right there of that jammer. That's quite inconvenient for the hot pink player. Going to be forced to deal with these Webers on the front line. Webers plus Recluse is a really dangerous combo because obviously stunned unit is extremely prone to rocket fire, and that's exactly what those Recluses are happy to do. There they go, firing away at all those units that are stunned, having a tremendous effect across the front line. There's a reason we saw these nerfed out of the console's build menu. It's because they're so dangerous on the fronts. First of the heavy assault tanks here, the Tigers, T2 heavy assault tanks for Cortex. Going to be making the front lines a little bit more scary right here for the orange and pink commanders in tandem. There's some Quakers out here though, those T2 artillery pieces for the Cortex faction. They're very powerful. They can certainly put in some work. We do see proper T2s being pushed out here as well from both of the commanders here, the brown and the yellow commander on the left-hand side. I think it's time that Wild Sparrow goes heavily into eco. Yeah, I think with all this time right now, I mean, Wild Sparrow has essentially won this lane already. I think what they could have done is just gone into a crazy amount of eco. A little bit of a Rocketeer push. This will be thoroughly mopped up by a whole bunch of Fiends coming in. no contest. I don't know if even a single fiend went down to the Rocketeers right there. A little bit of friendly fire maybe, but I don't think a single Rocketeer got a kill that day, and at the very least none of them retreated back and survived to tell about it. Those fiends, man, what a menace. A fiend, if you will. Is that one too on the nose? Maybe a little bit. There they go, cleaning up this front line here. The foreshadowing of the time to come that is the necessary transition towards T2 here. Gone are the days when the Grunt and the Pawn will have any say over what is acceptable in the front lines. The time of the Fiend is now. Yeah, Maroon player feeling very comfortable. Soul Shaker Live, I should say. Feeling very comfortable using those Fiends on the front lines to make sure that balance is well kept. Heavy assault bots being pumped out here. Mammoths brought out to the front lines, going to be supporting Rodix's commander. I think it's about time that commander retreated to the back lines and was reserved for cleaning up any T3 that might happen to try and leak through. Those T3 can definitely cause a problem, and it's really useful to have a commander at full health to try and clean up some of those, whether it be a rogue Razorback or a couple of Marauder or anything like that. Heavy tanks are pulled though, and they're going to start firing away. There they go, blasting apart all those mammoths. Oh, those are some expensive corpses on the front lines right there. 1320 metal per corpse lying in the dirt. It's a very expensive loss right there. I have a general disdain towards the mammoth. I feel like it's extremely useful under very specific circumstances, but you have to be aware of the useful builds for them. And part of that includes always keeping a whole bunch of res bots on hand so that you can repair them as quickly as humanly possible. If you're not repairing your mammoths, you're just not getting as much value out of them as there is available. It's sort of a little bit of wasted potential. This T2 lab will go down, and it looks like the trigger is pulled. The heavy tanks are now going to be, well, sweeping across the front here. There's Fiends and there's Zars, and those are going to clean a lot of this up, but a couple of medium tanks break away. Go ahead and slow this down as it looks like we've finally gotten to the meat of this game. There go the medium tanks. Pardon me, medium tanks trying to shut down that advanced, or rather, sorry, that fusion reactor, not advanced fusion reactor. We do have a couple of Aphuses up and available for the red player who's just been greeting like a hog in the back line. But for the time being, those are not scouted quite yet by those medium tanks, and so they're not going to make a beeline towards them as they probably would otherwise. Left-hand side looking a little shaky here. Yeah, those rocket bots have actually done tremendous work here, firing away at whatever they can. Oh, catching some Quakers over here too. Very nicely done. Arbiters, they feel like they're really difficult to use, but oftentimes they can get a really tremendous value out. The fact that they're so mobile but also have such a tremendous range really makes them an effective siege unit. They can dip into where they're most needed, fire away, and retreat back before anybody even notices that they've been hit by a heavy impact ballistic missile. Gauntlet on the front line. Yeah, holding on for dear life. Trying desperately here. It's gonna be close. Missile is up in the air. 1-0. Ooh, just barely eats it in the nick of time just before that missile comes down to ruin its day. Nicely done right there though by Avarice, recognizing, hey, if I'm gonna lose this on the front line, I might as well recuperate the entire cost of it rather than losing what is it, about 30% or so of the metal that was tied up inside of it. I like it quite a bit. That's some good map awareness right there. Something we can all strive to improve upon. Tick spam coming out. It's about that time that we start reaching into our back pockets and pulling out the Juno. Easy to forget that Juno exists because it comes to you in the T1 form, but it is, right and properly, usually a T2 sort of necessity here. Not usually something you need until the T2, and even sometimes into the late game, that T3 units when you get those scout spams coming out. But the Juno missile is able to disrupt all of those, and so firing one or two of those into the enemy backline, trying to shut down any of their production, yeah, it can be very hampering. Very annoying to deal with too. You spend all that time and resource putting together a nice little T1 lab, and you either have to switch into pawns or grunts, or you have to try your very best to, well, route your ticks or rascals or rovers or whatever scout you're using out and away from the field. And there's no guarantee, obviously, that you're not going to be retargeted, right, and shut down again. So we're on 4 Aphuses, and it looks like we're planning for 5 here. We've got plenty of energy converters as well. This is a full-blown T3 economy we're rushing all the way up to. The question is, what are we going to go for as a late-game win condition here? On 5 Aphus, you can pretty much go for anything short of a Ragnarok or a Calamity. You need a little bit more for that. I would say probably 7 to 8 is probably reasonable. Typically around 500 metal per second income is really nice. That's usually about what you want to put into a Calamity or Ragnarok to have it up in any reasonable amount of time, but you're going to need a lot of economy in order to do that. Right now for the red player, we're about halfway there. So yeah, it looks like, well, maybe I was a little off. Yeah, maybe 10 is more appropriate here as far as advanced fusion reactor goes. Either way, though, a whole lot of shurikens being pumped out. I wonder if shurikens are the ideal situation, or the ideal unit of choice here. Oh, interesting. We're going for... We've got... Well, I appreciate this. I appreciate seeing, first of all, the Junos coming up the back line. That's very nice. I appreciate seeing that we're going for quite a few T1 labs, so we're not just going to be spamming out a couple of fighters. We're going full mass if we're going into T1 fighters. And also, in the back line here, we have T3 units coming up here. So right now we have a Thor being produced, and those Thors are extremely powerful, especially on this map. And any flat map, Thors are essentially always going to be king. Very good to see those. Can they be enough to save the front line here, though? We have a lot of termites moving their way in. Yeah, little bad boys with their laser heads firing away. Termites in desperate need of a little bit of love. They suffer from damage fall off that makes them quite ineffective. And it's one of the things that was tweaked in Hornets' tweak units, and we'll be playing around with that this Saturday on the stream, by the way, in case you're interested. 12 PDT. We do those streams every single Tuesday and Saturday. Might be more news coming in for that, but yeah, you'll have to stay tuned to the Discord channel where I make all the official announcements. Maybe gives you one more reason to go sign up using the link down below there. Are we... Well, eventually we're going to see these Thors at the front line. And once the Thors at the front line, you can really start to build a push behind them. They're so resilient that you really don't have to worry about anything bursting them down, at least not one big blast. There's not really going to be anything... Well, that was a nice little connection over here. It looks like a missile friendly fired and accidentally took out a whole bunch of red spots over here. You don't have to worry about anything really taking down a Thor in one blast. It takes, oh gosh, I want to say like 10 or 11 pulsars firing in synchrony in order to blast down a... blast down a Thor in any, reasonable amount of time. And nobody on the red side has anything near that amount of firepower, especially not concentrated in any one location either. So, should be essentially no problem. These Thors could definitely make a difference on the front line. Breaking a lot of these heavier T2 units that are a little bit more difficult to break with T2. Some of these welders, for instance, some of these Zars, for instance, things that normal T2 struggle against, as they rightly should. But T3 just would have no problem wiping off the board here. More and more scout spam. I'm really surprised we're not seeing more and more Junos coming out at this point. Feels like absolutely the right idea here is to go for as many Junos as possible, just to shut down as many of those spam units that are coming out here. We do have a full-blown spamulatory over here as well, but they're pumping out grunts. Grunts definitely immune to the forces here of the Juno missiles, so not going to be the end of the world. The blue player actually has Juno missiles, and they are charged. Could see those firing away any minute here. Not bad whatsoever. Everybody has their spam factory. Everywhere I look, there's actually a spam factory. Got T1 labs back here. We've got some, well, I guess I don't see one. Well, technically there's a T1 lab here. It's not exactly set up for spamming, but it is doing that. The blue team may be more guilty than the yellow, or the red, rather. Yellow player, however, is spamming on some of those ticks. Definitely something to be aware of, right? Who's spamming out what kinds of units, and are they vulnerable to a more efficient method of firepower? It's where the sharpshooter becomes the right answer for a lot of cases. If your opponent, for instance, is spamming out bulls, sharpshooters can be a very efficient way of dealing with those bulls. They can click down the bulls before the bulls can even fire, and it means that you can really waste some serious cheddar on your enemy's wallet. 950 metal per bull, and if you can click them down in 3, 4, 5 shots with the sharpshooters, I mean, that's just 1,000 metal down the drain for your enemy every single time that you manage to trade one of those. Sharpshooters, easily one of the most efficient units in the game, though. Don't use them as the default example. They're just one of the best. Rattlesnakes in mass being built over here. That's quite funny. Seems to be popular these days, the rattlesnake. Useful, to say the very least. I have to give them credit where credit is due. More eco in the backline right here. A lot of T1 constructors. I wonder if we're using those. Okay, we're going to be building... Oh, interesting. Okay, we're building a sort of a LRPC depot up here. We're going to try and cram, what is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Looks like about 8. Didn't take that long to count. It just like a burp. Maybe that's gross for you to know. I don't know. I don't think the mic picks any of that up. I try and lean away. I have this terrible cough as well, and I try to mute myself for those so you don't have to hear me doing that. The Brightworks ASMR, as it's been called before. This is a lot of Thors. What are we saving these for? We are up to 7 Thors at this point. It's more than enough to bridge through any point on this orange, or the orange front line, the hot pink front line, anything in the red team is essentially what I'm trying to say. Yeah, what are we saving them up for? Really feels like everybody's just sitting around waiting for the waiting for the T1 to do the job. I don't think it's going to. I think we're going to need some T3 to break this line here. I really think these Thors need to march on forward. I'm willing to bet that if these Thors were able to step on forward here, they could easily crush the entire hot pink army over on this side, break through this line, and you would have no trouble shutting down the orange player, the hot pink player, and then maybe they would be stopped by the red player who's now pumping out juggernauts to the front line. Maybe. Thors are so nasty, though. Yeah, there they go. Spam factories are turned on as well, so the Thors are going to be accompanied at the very least by some T1 grunts that are charging forward here. It's meant to protect from D-guns like that. Cora getting a couple of really effective ones. Ooh, actually, Commander Cloaks manages to take down 4 Thors in total. Nice D-guns right here. Cora using those commanders to devastating effect. You know what? Shutting down so many of those Thors. Very, very nicely done right there. Chu has the commander in position as well. Takes down another Thor. Okay, well, you know what? That was cleaned up just about as nicely as it could have been. Yeah, those Thors dealt with very tremendously right there. Big aerial engagement on this side. It looks like the T1 and the Flak will be able to clean all of it up. Nicely done by the Cyan player, keeping his team safe, keeping the airspaces clear here, and shutting down the entire block of Tan fighters right there. Very nicely done. Thor's trying to blast apart this front line of T3 over here. It's expensive to keep these fighting on the front. That Juggernaut blasting away with the T-Ray as well. Takes down one of the Thors. Gonna take down another one here shortly as well as Catapult's also contributing a significant amount of firepower. Easy to underestimate how powerful the Catapult is. Well, maybe that's not true. The Catapult, it really does look and feel just about as dangerous as it is. It's a beast on the battlefield. This was something I was thinking about, as I often am one to do, sitting in the shower, thinking about Beyond All Reason, wondering about effective strategies. One of the things I was thinking about was, what are some of the units that are easiest to be efficient with? Whoa, a lot of friendly fire right there. And one of the ones that immediately came to mind was the Catapult, because essentially all you have to do is make sure it doesn't friendly fire, and it's virtually guaranteed that you're going to get some sort of efficient trade with the Catapult. To be fair, it costs about 5,000 metal, which is a significant investment. But for how far it can fire and how much damage it does, oh, nice little snipe right there. Yeah, Commander actually D-guns down the Juggernaut right there on the front lines. That's quite nice. For how much damage the Catapult can do and how far away it can fire, rather. It's one of those units that I think you can effectively get infinite value out of. Very, very worthwhile, I would say, at the very least. We've seen proper Catapult control in the past be extremely dangerous. I believe it was Ingrid Strawberry who sent that game in, where she utilized the, utilized those bad boys to tremendous effect. Those rocket hurlers. Those pain spitters. There's a fine line to walk between ecoing and unit production. Very, very fine line. You over eco, you essentially contribute nothing on the front line, and your team ends up pointing a lot of fingers in your direction. You under eco, and you can't produce enough units to actually effectively help your team. It's one of those things that comes with experience. One of those things that I don't think I've even ever mastered. Probably another 10 years or so of playing bar, and I'll be comfortable saying that maybe I've mastered it. It's one of those things that pros are extremely good at, though, is gauging exactly when they have enough production to go for an effective strategy versus when they need to eco like mad. And they don't half-ass either one of them, though. They make sure to commit. They're either going to do as much eco as humanly possible in the time span that they've been allotted by themselves, or they're going to go for just a absolute maximum amount of units and try and use those effectively in the front lines. Definitely a lesson that we all can learn. Prioritizing the right unit or the right eco at the right time in good moderation. This T1 spam is frustrating to deal with. It feels like you're just wasting resources, and in many ways you are. One counter, of course, would be to push. Utilize your units. Utilize their mobility. Try and do some damage. Yep. It's one very effective solution. This commander going down over here is actually a bit of a pain. There's not really a good backup plan in place right now for the blue team over on the right-hand side. Doxed finally, and I guess he inherited another commander, or maybe he took that one via resurrection. Either way, sending another commander over here on the right-hand side. There's only Razorbacks right now, so not going to be super effective as far as shutting down Juggernauts goes. Pretty effective in basically every other sense, though. Vanguards with their nozzles pointed high. There they go. They switch into low trajectory mode to fire at that Juggernaut over there. 7% is the total effective value they managed to strip off that bad boy. Might not have been all them, though. Might have been some of the other forces as well. So who wants to end this game is the question. Looks like something got sniped over here. I'm guessing it was an LRPC shot. Yeah, probably an LRPC. Oh yeah, there we go. We see him deflecting all over the place. That's a bit of a bummer right there for the blue player, who is, well, now going to have to rebuild a whole lot of economy. I think it was probably a bunch of energy converters that popped in the backline over here. Going to mean that at least for the time being, the blue player is down on production for a little while. Very up on energy, though, so at the very least, anybody who might be able to use it, the energy that is, going to have an effective time. Commander wreckage is long gone. We're a little bit stuck in a stalemate once again. Yeah, everybody up to T3 at this point. Nobody really sure how to close out this match. There's some T2 laboratories coming up here. Full-blown T2 production. We have, oh, interesting. We have a bit of a tech transition right now, actually, by Sanders Bagaga. Sanders Bagaga. Okay. I like it. I mean, yeah, those Armada T2 planes could definitely be a whole lot more useful across a more diverse field of opportunities than the Cortex planes. Typically, Cortex planes tend to boil down to big, strong plane, or big, fast plane, or big, hard-hitting plane. You don't get a whole lot of options. But I guess if you enjoy big planes, I guess you get enough options. I like these forward pulsars. They've probably done a good amount of work here. Definitely a lot of kills between all of them. 80 kills on that bad boy and 20 kills on that one. Most of it is T1 trash, but still, a kill is a kill. You should be proud. Actually, a surprising lack of anti-nuke coverage right here for the red team. Most of the backline is covered very thoroughly. Yeah, looks like some of these frontline bases are actually very vulnerable. How's the blue team looking as far as that's concerned? I know I'm, you know, preaching to the choir here. Oh, I thought that LRPC shot was going to hit over here. Looks like we are starting up shields. Yeah, everyone's trying to protect themselves. Oftentimes you end up hurting your neighbors by protecting yourself. It's just one of those unfortunate facts of beyond all reason. They are deflector shields after all, not absorption shields. Although you can't tweak those units and change them into that. I'm going to go ahead and speed it up once more. I feel like everybody's just hanging out again. We're going for a 40-minute no assault mission. 20-minute or 40-minute no aggression. Everybody building up forces right now. Surprised we don't see full-blown T3 production right now in a Super Kitterek. I would have imagined it's probably about time. Spam out a whole bunch of Karganeth, spam out a whole bunch of Juggernauts. Try and just make an unstoppable force and march it across the map right here. We do have the spam of T1 units marching out at this point. Kind of interfering with the production over here. A little bit annoying, probably. What a massive battle for no effect. Everybody firing their biggest guns into the no man's land here, but nobody actually sure how to break any of this and you know, pierce the defenses for either of the teams right now. I'll tell you what I'd like to see is a killer nuclear bombing run here. Try and build a whole bunch of those T2 nuclear bombers from the Armada production facility. Either one of the air players could go for it. I think they'd be durable enough to make it past the front lines, and I don't see a whole lot of anti-air right here for the, you know what, I say that right as there's a whole bunch of anti-air trucks right on my screen. Yeah, 18 anti-air trucks. Very powerful. In that case, nicely done. Very good memory right there. Good game sense by the orange player here, Cora, keeping track of where those units are and making sure that there's, yeah, good protection against all forms of harassment over here. Vanguard firing away. How much does each one of those shots do? 1%? Oh. Cortex definitely got the better end of that deal, taking the catapult over the Vanguard. Definitely feels like it's a little, well, maybe more than a little bit, a lot more powerful. I'm not saying it needs to be changed, but I'm just pointing out the obvious here. The Vanguard definitely feels like it doesn't really hold a candle to how devastating those catapults can be. I won't push the issue too much further. I know those Cortex players can be rather sore about how good a lot of the Armada kit is. Only teasing. It's time to end this game. We go to Ragnarok coming up here for the yellow player. Getting ready to try and finish the mission here. There's a lot of shielding to punch through over here. It's going to take a while. Certainly not going to be an issue for the Ragnarok over time, but yeah, it's going to take a minute or two. How far can we reach? Far enough, I would say. Yeah, we can hit the blue base, we can hit the green base. We might even be able to hit some of the lavender base over here. All of the front line is going to be gone, and there's the nuclear bombers coming out. I had a feeling this was going to happen. Didn't even watch this beforehand. I just would have loved to see it, and it looks like apparently Sanders agrees. Oh, nice. Nuclear bombers take out that advanced fusion reactor. A couple more moving in for the kill over here. Nice bombs right there. Gonna be dropping them right on top of the fusion reactors here. One more bomb to kill that advanced fusion reactor. Uh-oh. Oh no. Oh, we're so close. One more bomb to kill that advanced fusion reactor. Not gonna happen. Looks like the bombers are gonna retarget here. And eventually the bombers are all shut down. Only the fighters remain here. Nice little bombing run on this right-hand side, though. Definitely doing some significant damage. Shutting down the, I guess, the powder blue player over on the right-hand side. Also doing some nice damage to the green player. Shame about not popping that APHIS, but still very, very effective right there. Nicely done by the tan player. Looks like, yeah, definitely ready to try and find some sort of way out of this game. Karganeth over here. Trying to push forward. I like this idea if this was about 4 times as strong. Maybe 10 times as strong. We need a lot more Karganeth than this to push through. That being said, they killed the commander. They took down all the defenses over here. There's a couple more defenses available, not including, the least of which, a couple of pulsars firing away. Still, though, Karganeth very strong, very sturdy, very capable of doing a whole lot of damage. And they're pushing into an area that's relatively lightly defended here. Yeah, there's actually not a whole lot of defense. Most of the defense was up on the front line, but there's not a whole lot in the back here. So yeah, you know what? I would say that's probably a really effective area to harass. Karganeth seem to agree. There they go, marching on forward. Karganeth also obviously not impeded by the plasma deflector shields set up in the, well, basically every base over here. There's that Ragnarok, though, firing away here just as we predicted it would. Going to start bombarding all of these bases. First of all, their shells will be bounced off of these plasma bubbles over here and then deflected into the back line. Slowly but surely causing problems in mass for everybody. Build power goes down over here. This is a nice little game-winning move right there for the yellow commander. The red team in total. Yep, slowly but surely breaking those shield generators down. Yeah, these are also going to do some nice damage. Most importantly of which, they're going to shut down these shield generators, meaning that Ragnarok can actually be useful. Can actually do some damage. But what is it, 70,000 metal into a static defense? Sure hope it can be quite useful. Lavender base falling rather quickly over here. More and more of these shots being deflected all the way into the back line, way further than they should be able to go. Advanced fusion reactor pops on the left-hand side, does shut down. The majority of the forces here, or majority of the production here for the dark green player. Karganeth's still not done yet, though. Yeah, they wanted to kill on some of those plasma generators as well. I don't blame them. I think that's an excellent idea. Yeah, if they can take down those plasma generators, ooh, nuclear bombers have something to say about it, but if they can take those down, it definitely opens up the line a little bit here. It also is some crucial scouting. These techs doing a great job of that as well, but it's crucial scouting so that the, yellow player actually knows where to point the big gun. Air player has now been eliminated here. Oh, that's a big chain reaction. Wipes out all of the cyan base. Things are not looking good for the blue team. We're going to need a killer push right now, and indeed we've got it. I mean, the Behemoth are basically exactly what you want. The heaviest of heavy units pushing forward here, trying desperately to get something done. They've got a pseudo D gun on their face. More than happy to sneeze in anybody's direction who gives them the wrong idea. Oh, it's a lot of Titans too. We gotta end this game before this T3 push collapses, because this is so much metal and so much units all on the front lines right here. Alright, these units moving now. All these units need to step forward right now. We also need to target down some of that static defense, take out those bulwarks, take out basically anything that we can. Behemoth versus Behemoth. That is a duel for the century. Argonauts firing away, Titans firing away, Thor's firing away. Everyone and their mother is a part of this fight. Got rapid onset pulsar deployment coming in hot, ready to shut down this T3 as quick as possible. There's one Juggernaut. Behemoth, essentially the Juggernaut killer, designed for such a glorious purpose. There it goes, takes down another one. That is a Behemoth with a purpose, a mission. I'm doing a great job of it. Takes down another Juggernaut before it goes too. What a beast. These Titans absolutely could have marched on through here, by the way. They could have just stepped all the way through and pierced the back lines right now. This Ragnarok has been punching a hole into the middle of the barren desert for a good long while here. It definitely needs to retarget. Yeah, we're kind of firing into nothing at this point. I cannot believe that the red team held this. There were so many units right here, and apparently they were just on a fight command, so they weren't actually marching through. A classic case of fighting the enemy where their units are rather than fighting the enemy where their economy is. You can imagine if these Titans had stepped forward, 3 of them had split off in this direction and popped all the Aphyses over here. 3 of them had split off in this direction, killed all the Aphyses over here, and you know, the rest of them just did fire support. Yeah, we could have seen a flip of the game right here, but I just don't think that the red team, or the blue team rather, has it in their banks at this point. They're suffering by about, call it 500 metal per second now. Not to mention that they just don't have a Calamity, they just don't have a Ragnarok of their own, which would be, yeah, quite useful, gotta say. EMP bombers, you got him. You got him. That tick will never move again. And then the Juggernaut to snipe the tick there, just to end things off. Oh, I thought the nuclear bomber was gonna bomb the tick. Wouldn't that just be hilarious? Okay, another Behemoth on the front line. Keep moving forward. This Behemoth could do some work. Maybe. Nope, just turn it around. Coming on back. It looks like thick defense, but those Behemoths are basically meant to shut down Juggernauts right here, so I really think we have enough to break through this. Underestimating it feels like the power of the Behemoth. A little bit of a shame, because that unit definitely deserves all the respect that you can afford it. Oh man, yeah, these Titans just kind of slacking in their duties here. Finally, we're going to step them forward. I think this is exactly the right move. Come on, keep moving. Keep on moving. Don't let the catapults slow you down. They look more scary than they actually are. There we go. Titans finally get into the back line here. They're actually going to be able to do some damage. Shut down some of the production at the very least for the orange player. Definitely not enough yet to justify the several 100,000 metal that was sacrificed right there. But yeah, I mean, we're getting there. Slowly but surely. No, there's no way. This is absolutely over for the blue team, right? I mean, surely. Ragnarok back to firing. There we go. Surprised it hasn't been firing this entire time. Finally targeting the back line over here. Do we have vision back here? Yeah, we totally have vision back here. Surprising. Really unsure why we weren't firing that Ragnarok directly at the advanced fusion reactors. We can see feels like absolutely the perfect target for that. Maybe shutting down some of these generators over here might not be a bad idea either, just to yeah, save some of our shields in the back line from having to, or save our Ragnarok rather from having to pierce too many of those shields. Not the end of the world though, just speeds things up a little. As we near the 52-minute mark, I feel like speeding things up should be on everybody's mind. No, I get it though. Closing out these games and Beyond All Reason is definitely one of the skills to learn, right? There's the early game, there's the mid game, and there's the epic late game. This absolutely qualifies as the epic late game. When you have one wreckage field worth several 100,000 metal, I don't even need to check it. I know it's probably about 300,000 metal lying in wreckage right over there. That's how good I'm getting at these casts. I can just read it from, well, without even my tools. Comment down below if you think that's impressive. Just wait until you see how many units I have memorized. Yeah, that'll keep you coming back for more. I love the static defense we're throwing up all the way, all around over here by the red team. It feels like a worthwhile thing to do if you're not the strongest economy in the game, like Sanders Bagaga is. But you know, you're just a kind of a cursory accomplice economy. Using your power to set up a whole bunch of static defense really does feel like a pretty useful expenditure of time. The Calamity is set up over here. 2 lol cannons firing in tandem right now, trying to punch through the shields of the blue player. No amount of shielding is going to save you from 2 of those firing at the same time. I think intentionally the game is designed such that that is probably impossible. You'd need one hell of a configuration to make that work. Maybe a triangle formation so you can sort of deflect the shots left and right. I don't know. Maybe that would work. Maybe not. Probably not. Slowly but surely these shields are being wasted away here. I have another massive force of behemoths, and this many behemoths wins against this many juggernauts. Yeah, that's not a battle that we see all too often, but that many behemoths absolutely kills that many juggernauts. Especially if you can convince the juggernauts to stand in a line and the behemoths can get an effective shot. But yeah, that is a really, really effective force we have on the front lines right here. We have the Titans, perfect for blasting down anything shorter than the Juggernaut or a Behemoth, basically the catapults and the Shiva, all that sort of stuff. And we have the Behemoths, which are going to be great for blasting apart those super heavy hitters. Hit. Trying desperately. Oh, there we go. A little bit of a chain reaction. Slowly but surely, the base is being whittled down until eventually the whole thing chain reacts. There goes the entire blue base, and I think the purple base is probably going to be short to follow here thereafter. I was trying to get a nice little slow-mo shot. With how unpredictable these shells are, it's really difficult to say whether we'll get it or not. I think eventually we will. I'm hovering the button. I'm really hoping for it. Either way, though, it is a crippling blow right now to the blue team. Indeed, Squall B calls the resign vote. There's not a whole lot left here. Oh, the vote actually failed. Okay. Blue team wants to go for the win. No power for the behemoths to fire, by the way. A bit unfortunate. Really don't want to miss this explosion, though. There we go. Big old chain reaction sets off all the advanced fusion reactors, and there goes the dark purple base. All of the build power over here for our Seafoam Green Commander as well goes down, and I think that's going to be all she wrote over here. The Hero Titan finally realized, wait a minute, this line is not as secure as it looked. It actually realizes that it could have broken through the entire time, far too late. So yeah, the red team just has overwhelming numbers at this point. Nothing that the blue team is going to be able to do to hold on against this much force. We have dragons up in the air blasting away. Not the new dragons, mind you. These are the old dragons. The laser dragons. Which arguably would have been a better and cooler name for the dragon. But anyways. So where the Vanguard did 1% damage, the Catapult does about 4 to 5, I want to say. Depends on how many missiles hit. But yeah, it definitely does a significant amount of damage. Here we go, more Titans pushing forward. This is less than the amount of Titans that we had in the very first push, and there are more Juggernauts here. There we go. Titans do manage to take out the entire orange base right now, probably putting Doxed on top of the leaderboards as far as damage done goes. Not really going to be worth all too much, as I think the result at the end of this match is probably going to be effectively the same. I'm going to go ahead and speed things up because I think we all know exactly where this is going. There's a lot of Juggernauts over here too. Why aren't these pushing into a bunch of T1 spam? Feels like exactly the kind of thing you would use these Juggernauts to clear. Just push into this base over here. Feels like just a lack of aggression right now from the blue team. Eventually boiled over, and the red team just knew how to spend their money, and they did so very effectively here. Oh, nuke into the pocket will eviscerate that base. Nicely done over there. Not sure how they got the scout off to know that there was no anti-nuke over there. Maybe it was just blind luck. But either way, that is a nice little kill on one of the last remaining production facilities here. There is another little group of aphises over here on the bottom right-hand corner. Definitely not enough to stand up to the overwhelming might right now of the red team. go. Maroon Juggernauts waiting until they know that they can win. I feel like I've been a little bit partial here towards the blue team, not being aggressive, but certainly on the side of the red as well. They did an excellent job of holding, but I feel like they could have also pushed in and done a tremendous amount of damage, probably on this right-hand side, but also right down the middle as well. And it looks like we're going to fight to the very last, but there it goes. The final commander pops, and the red team secures victory in this game.